Okay, so today I'm going to talk about fossilization. So first, what is fossilization? So that is when something living is preserved and turns into a fossil. So as you can see, my diagram up there is of a fish dying, and then it gets covered, and then after many years, it is then turned into a fossil. So there are three main types of fossils. There are body fossils, and that is where the whole body is fossilized. Usually it's a quick burial, and mostly this happens in marine. So the diagram above is of a body fossil. So some examples of body fossils are bones, shells, and leaves. So as you can see right here, that is a picture of a leaf diagram or a leaf fossil. And then there are also trace fossils. So this is, you can see the trace of the animal, you can see their trail. So some examples are trails, footprints, or burrows. And there is an example of a trace fossil, which is a Bigfoot foot. So, and then next, there are chemical fossils. So this is all the fossils that have organic compound. So an example of that would be some DNA recovered from a shark tooth, or it can be DNA recovered from a bone, or anything that is organic like that. So now that you know the three types of fossils, we're going to talk about the law of superstition and like where these fossils would lay. So you can't really see it. There we go. The law of superstition relates to fossilization because the newer fossils will be right on top, and the older fossils will be much deeper down. So it's just like rocks. The newer things are on top, and the older fossils are on the bottom. So now, 5 things that are important for fossilization. First is the anatomy, and these are just 5. There's many more. These are just examples. So first is the anatomy. So depending on what is being fossilized, whether it's a fish or like a moose, will depend on how it's fossilized. The size, once again, something bigger like a moose will take much longer to fossilize than, say, a fish, like we talked about in the other example. The environment that it's in, so whether it's in a really cold environment or a really hot environment, that will affect how it's fossilized. And also the number, so whether there's a lot or not a lot of whatever it is being fossilized. And lastly, something important is the time. So some things will obviously take longer than others, and other things won't take as long. So something that's not very common is soft tissue fossilization, and this happens from a sudden like change in the weather and the environment. So an example would be like the Ice Age. The woolly mammoths literally like froze, so their soft tissue and everything was preserved. Another example could be like if a volcano were to erupt, all the lava that could preserve the footprints, so that would create trace fossils. So soft tissue fossilization can only happen under certain circumstances. And then water and soil on fossil discovery. So water tides, they can carry the fossils, and where a body of water might have used to have been could have preserved like a fossil. So in certain places where there used to be water, there will be like fish or shell fossils found there, even though there might not be water there now. And soil erosion can bring fossils to view. So if a rock breaks down, it can bring up an older rock, as you see right here. It can bring an older rock up to the surface, and so that can make them more viewable. Or it can also erode the fossils, because anytime that things are being broken down, that can obviously ruin the fossil itself. So for the soil erosion, it can really go 2 ways. And I guess the soil could go, or I mean the water could erode the fossils as well. So it just depends on what the water or the soil is doing. So that is it for today. Thank you.